doing today? Are y'all ready to elect Beto O'Rourke as governor? I'm Greg Casada. I used to be y'all's city council member, and come January, I'll be y'all's member of Congress. You also have some great leaders here. We have our Mayor Pro Tem, Allison Alter. District 1 in East Austin's own Natasha Harper Madison. We have statewide candidates Luke Wardford. And pretty soon you're going to hear from El Mero Mero, George Morales, who I think is coming up here in a second. You can cheer for him when he comes up. Y'all can make the difference in this election. East Austin and Travis County can make the difference. And your vote, but also your organizing going forward today, can make the difference between whether Beto O'Rourke is governor or not. It is now in our hands. And what we've learned the really hard way these last couple of years is that the decisions we make about who runs this state can cost people their lives.
Yes.
We can protect people's lives and livelihoods, or we can continue to foster division and put people at greater risk. As a city council member, I was here alongside y'all through the pandemic, through the winter freeze, through so many struggles. And we know, and we all have friends and loved ones who lost homes, lost jobs, even lost their lives. And Greg Abbott was supposed to be our first responder. And how did he respond? He banned abortions. He banned books. He tried to blame the vulnerable. He tried to turn us against one another. But how did we respond? I saw so many of y'all here delivering food and water to people in need here at the Millennium Center. Nurses taking care of people in overflowing hospital rooms. People going out into the freezing cold in the night and climbing up light poles to get the electricity back on. People lending their hard-earned dollars to their neighbors who couldn't afford to pay the rent. The fact of the matter is, Governor Abbott doesn't represent the real Texas. The real Texas are people who care about lifting one another up. About mourning each other's losses, about acting out of love and holding the powerful accountable when they violate our trust. That's who we are. And we can make that vision of Texas a reality when we elect Beto O'Rourke as governor. So we can all go and vote today, but I'm going to tell you all that's not enough. We won't win the election if we just all here go and vote. But we can win the election if you go and call 10 friends after you go and vote, and that makes your impact on this election 10 times greater. If you go knock on doors and block walk, I know that there is such a temptation right now to go find out what's the latest in the news, or what's going on in the polls, or to scroll on your phones. Take that time that we know we're tempted to do that and contact more voters. Sign up for a block walk, knock on doors. That way, when we check the news on November the 9th, the news is that Ken Paxton is gone. And the news is that Beto O'Rourke is governor of this state. The difference will be, think about it, Ted Cruz got on a plane and went to the beach during the storm. Beto O'Rourke showed up in a truck and delivered water over at the Northeast High School. He came here to the Millennium Center to take care of people. Think about it, when the news of what happened, the slaughter in Uvalde happened, Governor Abbott decided to stay at a fundraiser for hours. And instead, we could have someone that has been standing beside those families day in and day out, and who's going to fight not just for our kids, but for the generations to come. Use that, think about that as you think about checking the news or checking the latest poll. And instead, let's use that time and put that energy into getting out the vote. You can make all the difference. And so, right before we call up Beto, I want to call up one more person who has been doing that work, who has been nonstop, not just caring for our public safety, but going out into East Austin neighborhoods and making sure we're cared for and making sure that people go and make their voice heard at the ballot box. Because democracy isn't how we oppress one another. It should be for how we care for one another. And that's what Constable George Morales is all about.
Right.
I'm not going to sit on the box. I feel like I'm going to fall. But I am Constable George Morales, born and raised here in Eastern Crescent. Okay? One thing we like to say in the East Side is can't reign forever, right?
Right.
Can't reign forever because we got Beto O'Rourke on the ballot. But when I got the call to speak, I just want everybody to know that this law enforcement officer doesn't support that other guy. This law enforcement officer supports Beto O'Rourke. You heard Greg say we have to get out, we have to go, we have to take as many people to the polls as we can. When I got this call, I was wondering, was that the first choice? Was that the second choice? Was that the third choice? Then me, being born and raised in the East Side, Dove Springs, I said, nah, he needed a pro. Because I'm pro-choice. Real quick, I'm going to give a shout out to Virgil Limon. It's his birthday. You come to East Austin, you come to this part of the neighborhood.
That's right.
I'll let everybody know this is Limon country. 10,000 family members, y'all. 10,000 family members. And they're every day, Lonnie Limon's out there with me. We're calling, we're walking, over 35,000 homes hit.
Wow.
But we can do more. Everybody can do more. You heard 10, forget that, do 20. You heard pick up one person, forget that, take 5. This is how we win, together. Each and every one of us win together. This is what we look forward to, a Beto O'Rourke as our governor. Remember that. It is not only a privilege, it is my honor, because I met Beto O'Rourke in 2018 at a little park in Weberville. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was impressed. It's my honor, my privilege to introduce you to our next governor of the state of Texas, Beto O'Rourke.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Buenas tardes. Just at the hour after 12. Hey, so good to be with you all under this beautiful sky, which has parted to stop the rain, to allow us to enjoy one another's company, and most importantly, to vote. To listen to these great public servants like Greg Casar. And I just, I know this is obvious to you all, but there are 2 kinds of Gregs in the world, right? This is the kind of Greg that I want in an office of public trust, who's going to be fighting for each and every single one of us. The passion that you just heard, I have seen throughout his career on city council, on the work that he does outside of public life, just making sure that the people in this community are doing okay, and when they're not, trying to lift them up or connect them to the resources or those in power who can make a difference in their lives. And that makes all the difference to all of us. He's going to do such an extraordinary job for this community in the United States Congress. So Greg Casar, thank you for everything. Constable Morales obviously is a legend here. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have been so excited to see him if you didn't already feel that way. For him to lend his name, his credibility, the good work that he has done on behalf, again, of this community, of representing the absolute best in law enforcement, willing to put their lives on the line for each and every single one of us to improve our safety and our security, trying to build trust with the community, right? Working with folks where they are, trying to lift them up as well, as Greg is trying to do, and making sure that people are held accountable. We have justice in our communities. With that, we build greater trust. We build greater security. We build greater safety. That's the kind of public service that I see from Constable Morales, from those other public leaders who are here with us right now, and those aspiring leaders, especially at the statewide level, like Luke Warford and Janet Dudding, who are here with us as well at the very top of the ticket. And to the Limon family, you could literally be the margin of victory in this election. If you have 2,000 family members here, I mean, we just need to be talking to you, right? I want to say something at a very, very personal level, and that is that you give me so much hope. You give the people of Texas so much hope. Given the things that we are trying to survive right now as a people, as a state, the way that you are choosing to meet this moment is so hopeful, gives us optimism, and confidence that we're going to prevail. And if we think about what we are up against, Greg referred to the fact that the grid failed in February of 21, about 19 months ago. And not only was it inconvenient for the people of Austin who didn't have heat, who didn't have light, who didn't have water because it was frozen in the pipes above their heads, but we lost the lives of 700 of our fellow Texans. Innocent kids who froze to death literally in their beds. Vietnam-era veterans who died of hypothermia in their trucks trying to charge their oxygen tanks. Families who burned up when the parents set fire to their furniture trying to keep their kids warm. That grid is still not fixed today, though we are all paying higher utility bills as a consequence of that failure. I think about some of us who know that we're probably going to be okay even if the lights and the heat and the water go out again. But to Greg and the constable's point, there's a lot of other folks who won't be okay. And we've got to be there for them right now. I think about the fact that for women and girls in the state of Texas, we have a total abortion ban that begins at conception. There's no exception for rape, incest, and effectively and functionally the life of the woman or the mother. I've met too many women and mothers who shared with me incredibly personal, incredibly painful stories of what they've survived and what they almost died from in the 2 months since the most extreme abortion ban in America has become law. I think about the fact for those parents, for those young people among us, that gun violence is now today the leading cause of death for children, for teenagers, for the most vulnerable among us in this state. We lead the nation in the number of school shootings, and it has been 22 weeks since those 19 children and their 2 beautiful, amazing teachers like Eva were taken from us on the 24th of May, 2022. And in 22 weeks, this governor, those in positions of power in this state, have not done a damn thing to make it any less likely that any other child in any other classroom in Texas will meet the same fate as those 19 kids did. 5 of the worst mass shootings in American history taken place in this state in the last 5 years. And the only thing that those in power like Governor Abbott have done is to make it easier for those who should never have a firearm to begin with to carry them openly, publicly on our streets. And then there's this, our democracy and the right to vote. That which makes everything else literally possible. Because here's my theory on this. You don't get the most extreme abortion ban. You don't get permitless carry. You don't get a grid that fails and is still not fixed if everyone is voting. Those outcomes are not reflective of our values or who we are or the real majority in this state. But when it's harder to vote in Texas, harder to get your name on the rolls in this state than anywhere else in America, this is the outcome that you get. The only way to overcome that is for all of us to do all we can with what we have, where we are, to reach everybody, I mean everybody in our lives. Because though you make me hopeful, and though we are making the state hopeful right now, we cannot allow this to be a false hope. Too many are counting on too much from all of us for us to let them down right now at this defining moment of truth. And as Greg said, as important as it is that you're out here and you're voting, it is absolutely insufficient to the task at hand. There are millions of our fellow Texans who are eligible, though have not participated in recent elections. We have yet to hear their voices. We have yet to count their votes. And I'll let you in on the end of this. If we fail to do what we need to do right now, we won't hear it by the 8th of November, and we'll have the same outcome that we've always had in statewide elections for the last 30 years. This is on us. I mean, no pressure, folks. But the future, the fate, the fortune of Texas, I would say by extension the United States of America, hangs in the balance right now. We must do this. So here's my request of you. In addition to voting, please sign up with our campaign to knock on the doors of those who have yet to cast that ballot, the very targets of suppression and intimidation. Rocio, hold that up high. She's got a clipboard right here. And on that clipboard are open shifts to knock on the doors of those voters who can decide the outcome of this election. Now, let me address something that I've heard sometimes from folks in Austin, which is, look, Hey, Beto, this is a blue county. You're going to win this. We don't need to turn people out here. You need to go turn them out in Collin and Denton and Hayes and Comal. Well, we got to turn them out everywhere. But your vote here in Austin counts for just as much as anybody else's vote anywhere else in the state. And it goes all the way up to the statewide totals for these statewide candidates. It goes all the way up for your local candidates right here. And it's incredibly important that we turn those out who otherwise would not vote. In fact, number one reason given by those who have not voted in previous elections is that no one has asked them to vote. They are literally waiting for you to show up. And won't it be some pretty powerful, profound, poetic political justice when the very people they thought had been drawn out from this democracy are brought in by all of us and form the margin of victory when we win this on election night. And when we win, the possibilities are unbounded. It means women making their own decisions about their own bodies and their own future. It means prioritizing the lives of our children ahead of the interests of the NRA or the gun lobby in the state of Texas. It means having the backs of public school educators, paying them enough not to get a job, and ensuring that they have more valuable classroom time to spend with those kids by canceling the STAR test in the state. And for our democracy, it means not only must it be easier to get on the rolls, so automatic voter registration, online voter registration, same-day voter registration, but we end the practice of members of Congress choosing their voters, replace gerrymandering with citizen-led redistricting commissions in the state of Texas. And to make sure you can take some time off to vote, we replace Confederate Heroes Day as a state holiday with Election Day as a state holiday. Last thing that I want to say is this. We are only here right now because of those who preceded us and made it possible. LBJ, first Texas president, when he's giving his voting rights speech in March of 1965, 8 days earlier, Bloody Sunday, John Lewis trying to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge, beaten within an inch of his life at the tender age of 24 years old. He puts him in this tradition of great American heroes who've been willing to sacrifice themselves to ensure that this democracy actually works. And he says something to the effect of, as it was at Concord in Lexington, as it was at that courthouse in Appomattox in 1865, so it is today in America in 1965. These brave patriots willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that this democracy actually works. But for all of those people who preceded us, we would not have this opportunity right now. And if you think about it, we are the heirs of their service, their struggle, and their sacrifice. And what we do with this inheritance will determine our future and define us in the eyes of our kids and the generations to come forever after. And about those generations, our kids, so mine are 15, 14, and our youngest just turned 12 yesterday.
God bless you.
Thank you. They do not get a vote in this election, but through the actions that we take and the commitments that we make right here, right now, at this moment. And so thinking about them and knowing that their eyes are on us, and at some point, there is going to be an accounting. I don't know if it will be on the 9th of November. I don't know if it will be 10 years from now, but think about this in your life. Those kids who are our conscience will turn back from the future to this moment and say, when all this was happening, when all of you had all the power in the world to confront it and overcome it, what did you do? We've got to be able to tell them that we came through, that we won this election, and we set Texas on the right track. You all with me? Yeah! All right. Let's do everything we can to make sure that we come through. We're going to hang out for a little while. I know that Janet and Luke and these other great candidates will as well. Do me this favor. If you have some time, take a picture with us. Post that picture literally before you leave this parking lot. Those who are going to decide this election may not see our television ads, may not even know that we exist, might not know the stakes of this election, may not trust us. Look, these are politicians. Why should I waste my time and my hope on them doing anything for me, but they know you and they trust you. You're family to them. You're friends, you're colleagues, you're classmates. They see you standing with us saying that you have voted, that you're doing what you can. They're going to be inspired to do the same. That's how we're going to break through and bring more of these voters in. Thank you all so much for coming out today. Keep the faith, keep up the fight, and let's go win.
Yeah, sure. I'm Candace Hunter, and I'm a candidate for Austin ISD School Board Trustee, District 1, which is Northeast and East Austin.
Right here, up the hill.
One line. You already got it, but let's get in line. Oh, shit, the light shirt. Okay, let's get in line.
Open the camera. Are you going to take a picture with that? Yes. Then what you need to do is get your camera ready to go. Well, okay. Y'all are going to be together?
Yeah, I'm not going to be in it.
Yeah. So we usually do it with the phone. It makes the whole line go faster. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. So we're going to try to speed this line up because he's got another song. Will you open that to camera so you're ready to go? Hey, y'all. Can you take your phones out of your pockets and open up the camera and make sure they're awake? No.
Hey, thanks for coming out. Oh, you're good.
Are you ready?
I'm really gonna cry.
Hold on, here's the picture. Okay. It's a good time. Good things are happening. Right. Thank you. Hi there. Come on.
Spread the word.
Oh, yes,
Please
sir.
post that if you can.
Oh, thank you so much. Right over here. Betcha. I'm going to grab this. So nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hey,
We're excited to
welcome.
vote for you. 1, 2, 3. Just to get the line started. There you
All
go.
the ladies are doing a good
Come on over. I moved here to do solar.
Great.
When you get elected, I want to talk
Let's
to you.
work.
We
Let's
need to
work
do
together.
policy. Here we go. You ready?
Hey, I appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you. Likewise, you're here.
I wish I could do more, but thank you.
Post this photo. And reach the
Ready?
people you
Look
know.
over here.
That'll be
1,
good.
2, 3. Thank you, sir. All right, come on over then. Hey,
Oh, thank you for
Hey,
joining.
Kate, I'm gonna pause.
So you of all people have to post this. 'Cause I bet you can check some people. Thank
all
you.
right, look over here. 1, 2. Okay. Got it. Thank you, ma'am. Hi
Thank you for
there.
doing this. We're all doing all we can.
Good pump.
All right. You want to do this?
All right. No, I'm not. I'm not. Yeah.
We got you.
There you go. Thank you.
We got you.
Come on, let's pull them out. All right.
Are you part of this crazy?
Yes, I am. Yep, that's all I'm.
This is a medal.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I gotta get this picture.
You have to post this. Give me.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And thank y'all for all the work you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Means a lot.
For everybody
Oh, you
else.
were?
We will. No, we'll post it today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for doing this and for reaching everybody.
Pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely.
Video shout out.
Yes.
Quick, ready? 1, 2.
Hey, big shout out to the Limon family. Literally, given the number of you out there, you can decide the outcome of this election. I'm with some great heroes from this family right now. Let's make sure that we keep the faith, keep up the fight, and go out there and win.
Go Beto! All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Count on you.
Everybody go. Hi, I'm Caroline.
I love the sweater, Dylan.
Thank you,
You
Caroline.
gotta post that.
Thank you, Constable.
You are awesome. Thank you for doing
I'm gonna hop in behind some.
You got it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Colin, you gotta post that one. Please post yours.
Thank you,
I love what you
Hi,
did.
Yeah, I'm behind you.
Over. Are you grabbing her? Coming in after her?
Likewise, thanks for coming out. So you're city council too.
I'm running for city council.
And how does it look?
Looking good, and I want to
Knocking doors?
Yes, knocking doors, making phone calls, text messages, all the things. And actually, your 2018 campaign was my first time being
Oh, awesome.
back in College Station.
So some good came out of it.
Yes. Here we go. Ready? Look at me first. 1, 2, 3. All right, look over here. There we go.
And then I have my team photo.
Here, I'll grab one first. Ready? Look at me first. 1, 2, 3. Over here, over here. 1, 2, 3. All right. All right. There we go. Thank you all so much.
Keep it up. 11 days.
We got your back. Thank you.
Likewise. Oh, wow. Let's win.
All right, look over here. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Desiree. Hi there. Come on over.
Hello.
1, 2, 3.
I met you at the Chick Show in Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was
She was at the trick show at the Woodlands.
I was the person that went to Oklahoma Chick Show.
Yes. Like, I didn't know that there was a dedicated following.
Yeah.
Here we go. You ready?
It was such a good show. I never seen them live.
Yeah.
They were amazing.
Here
Yes.
we go.
You have to come 40 times down here.
Yes.
All right, y'all look at me. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
I hope I only have time to do that in 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years from now. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Thanks for coming out.
Here we go.
Promise
Ready?
me you'll post this.
Yes.
There you go. Look over here. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Max,
Appreciate
come on over.
you. Spread the word. Let's do this. Let's do this. Hey, thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
I'm here today.
Next, come on over. Thank you for voting.
Tell them I'm so excited to see them. And you gotta post this. Post that photo and let us
Yeah.
Right up here. Ready?
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
out.
You're here.
Here we go. Thank you.
Promise me you'll post that.
Yes, I will. I've been sharing across social media, just trying to get my more Republican friends to like switch their
That's
vote.
what it's
I
gonna
know you are the person they
We're
want.
gonna do
Right
this.
over here.
We're
We're going to
gonna do
move a
this.
little faster.
Hey,
Little faster.
likewise.
1, 2, 3. There we go. Thank you.
915.
Hi
Let's
there.
do it. Thank
Come
you.
on
Post
over.
that. Hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming out. Yes. We are gonna do it together. Appreciate you both. Thank you.
I like
Here
your
we go.
shirt.
First time Texas voter.
Let's somebody!
Over here from Georgia. I had the honor of voting for Stacey, and now I have the honor of voting for you.
You're gonna put us over the top, and we all know this your t-shirt, and we love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Young people will win this.
Yes, absolutely.
Spread the
Hi
word.
there. Come on over.
Hey!
So nice to meet you.
Hi. That's all. Thank you all for coming out.
Beautiful. Thank you guys.
Post
Hi
that,
there.
okay?
Come on over.
Yes.
Hey, pleasure's mine. Thanks for coming
Ready?
out.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Spread the word,
Come on
okay?
over. How far does that line go? Is that the end where I'm looking at? Okay.
Do we need to?
I'll tell you what, my sister has different story, but significantly much of the story.
You're counting on him?
We have 15 minutes to get through this line.
Transitioning out of high school. Holy shit, why didn't somebody tell me about
All
this?
right, folks, we have 15 minutes to get through the whole line because we're going to do another polling stop. So if you can help us, we're going to do just a quick picture. Too much talking. I know, we got to move it. Here we
And
go.
the thing is, not only those families do better, we help all of us will do better because those young people are going to rise to their full potential.
All right, you're right, y'all. We got to keep moving.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming out.
Okay, see you there. 1, 2, 3.
I'm just gonna try to do
Thank
this.
you.
Spread the word, okay?
Come on over.
Hey.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We're going to keep moving fast. There we go. Thank you. Come on over.
10th one.
I know. You're amazing.
This is my final event.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey,
Got
we
it.
got you.
Together?
Come on.
Hey, likewise. Thank you for being here. It means a lot to me that you're here.
You're gonna move right on in, okay?
Thank you.
Spread the word, okay?
Thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for coming out.
Thank you for coming out. Is it just this one?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Thank you, folks.
Please post that. Spread the word, okay?
Can I go on the other side?
Hey, thanks for being here. What's wrong? Way to go. She was here for you.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Spread the word, please. Post that. Hey, thanks for coming out. Oh, I'll take that hug. Thank you. Let's do this. Yeah.
Here we go, y'all. Look at me. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Thank you. Hi there. Hi.
Hey,
I'm so excited
thanks for coming out.
for being here. Thank you.
We're good for press when you're ready.
Okay? After red shirt, we're going to pause. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Hi, dear. Come on over. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Can you turn the music off?
Hi. Thank you for supporting my friends.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about.
Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm already signed up. Quick timeout to do some press, but then after we're going to make this line go super fast. So be ready. We're just going to. Are you signed in?
I'm not.
Okay, what's going on? Are you following me? Is it videotaping? Okay. Early voting is going on right now through November 4th. Election Day is November 8th. Please make sure you get all your friends and family and your neighbors to get out and vote. Go out there, vote for Beto and all of our Democratic down ballot candidates. Let's go.
The questions were what we can change. I'm gonna they gave us exactly what we wanted to hear, which is what we're going to work on. Excellent. Because I don't want her to have a problem. Oh, I just edited the video. Yeah. She's got a mask on. I don't want there to be any blowback. Yeah. The people that don't live in.
Oh, yeah, I have a pretty good place. All right.
That's funny.
Early voting is so important. Typically, you're not going to be waiting for line. And all this great Democrats really believe in public education, women's right to choose. They want to make sure we bring down Texas and the state of Texas and get behind las cosas y los temas más importantes para cada comunidad y cada familia.
Don't forget to moderate. Oh, yeah.
I heard you sharing about public educators.
Yes.
Anything you want to say?
I do. I think that the governor's race is super important because the governor gets to select our education commissioner. And I think it's super important because we're going to meet out those laws. And honestly, if Governor Abbott is elected again, public life will be in the fight of its life. The ledge is already choking out our money. We can't get what we need, the minimum to pay teachers. Recapture is the third largest contributor to the state budget. They don't want to fix it. It's how they balance their budget. But it's the kids in Austin are paying for the kids all over the state. So we have to have Beto as our governor, or public education may come to an end as we know it. Truth, 100%. No hyperbole there.
It means returning to the Rio Grande Valley and Edinburgh, Brownsville,